Now it's time for Be Prepared, presented by Castrol Edge. Well, the 2020 football season did not go the way Duke and their head coach David Cutcliffe would have liked, but you will not find a more respected coach in all of football. Obviously, you know, he coached Peyton Manning, he coached Eli Manning, he coached Daniel Jones. He's one of the brightest minds in the sport, and we had a chance to catch up with Coach Cutcliffe about one of the more intriguing prospects, and quite simply, the best prospect in the upcoming draft. It is Duke head coach David Cutcliffe joining us. And Coach, it's great to see you again. We appreciate your time. I do want to ask you about somebody that you had a chance to coach against. I know somebody that you had on campus as well, you've known for a long time, and that's Trevor Lawrence.
Here's Lawrence. Fake the screen, throw to the end zone, Allen, and the Clemson touchdown.
We all assume he's going to be the first pick here to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But what was your first exposure to him, and what was your takeaway?
Well, I mean, first of all, he's bigger than you think he is. He is faster than you think he is, okay? I know his high school coach well. He was well coached and trained in high school, but the things that his high school coach said about him as a person, as a teammate, I think he's displayed at Clemson that he's a great teammate, which is extremely important. Probably the greatest compliment an athlete can get is being a great teammate. And so I do think he's humble, hardworking. You know, where he is in his progression as a quarterback, I wouldn't know as much about, but he does possess the skill level, and really, again, going back to having great respect for his high school coach and remembering everything he said about Trevor makes you realize that he's got the intangibles as well.
You know, Coach, it's great to hear you talk about that. One more perspective on Trevor. Being on the opposite sideline, when you face a guy like Trevor Lawrence, what do you feel like facing a guy like that? What's the challenge when you face someone who's as talented and dynamic as a Trevor Lawrence?
Well, I mean, we didn't really have an answer, to be honest with you. The challenges is that he is big enough and he can be pure in that pocket. He can do what the guys I've coached before can do. And then he can create. So, like, we played against Johnny Manziel in his last game at Texas A&M. It's a good arm. We all know the mobility was incredible, but you knew he wasn't going to just stay in the pocket and throw it the way Trevor can. Trevor can throw out routes on time. He can throw digs on time. You know, and that's really, to me, what you've got to see is, and he's certainly the body type, you know, to do that. And I think that's the uniqueness when we didn't have an answer. I mean, if you just try to keep him in the pocket, rush high, he's going to be successful in there. You can't even not rush him and try to jump and bat balls because he's a good-sized guy. So we struggled. Again, best thing you can do is limit the number of snaps they get somehow, some way. That's the best way against those people.
Since the last time we had a chance to visit down there at Daniel Jones' Pro Day, a lot's changed, including Eli Manning's retirement. So before we get into talking about some of these quarterbacks and some guys you've got coming out of Duke this year, my question is simply, did Eli ever change your phone to a different language like he's done to so many other people?
Absolutely. Think about this. I have had Eli and Peyton at the same time during their pro careers, and they come in plan. And that is, I can't even mention the things on air. The phone language was easy. The rest of it got complicated.
You know, Coach, you've been around a lot of great quarterbacks, and it seems like we're having an evolution at the position, that we're seeing more athletic playmakers at the position than just your statuesque pocket passer. When you're looking at quarterbacks, how much does the athleticism factor into the evaluation process?
Zach calls for the snap at his chest. Quarterback draw. 15-10 to the 5. A spin, a dive, and a score!
Well, it's becoming more and more important to me personally. First of all, it fits what we have to do to be successful here. That's part of an evaluation. I will tell you this, and I had far too much time to sit at home and watch football when you don't play in a bowl game, and I was miserable. So I watched it closely, and then I was able to watch the playoffs, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It's an interesting study to see how many first downs are made on third down off of scrambles, scramble runs, and scramble throws. And that has become quite evident at every level. I felt like I told our staff all season, that's a bigger deal. And one of the things that occurs with an athletic quarterback, the most difficult thing to practice isn't tackling, it's sacking a quarterback. That's something that in college, we don't get a preseason game. You never do until a game. You're not going to hit your quarterbacks or have your quarterbacks hit in a scrimmage. So we're working on ways right now to find ways to finish sacks. As long as people are average at that and don't have the quality of athlete to finish a pass rush and finish a sack, then those quarterbacks become more and more important. And when you get out of that pocket, and I'm watching, Mahomes and Kelsey and these guys that, they know what to expect from each other. And I think it's become an extreme weapon in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, when we played him at Louisville, I didn't want him to go anywhere. I wanted him to stay in the pocket. And that's a very difficult thing to do. What we tried to do to Lamar Jackson was we just shortened the game. I tried to burn every second on offense and do everything I could to make them mad. So when they substituted, I would wait the last second and sub a D lineman because we had no answer for that type of athletic quarterback. And you know what? I don't see many NFL teams have an answer for him either.
No, they don't, Coach. They have not had an answer for him through his young NFL career. Coach, you've been generous with your time. I'm not going to keep you much longer, but something we've talked about a lot on our show and kind of following the trends of where the game was headed. We talk about positionless football, really on both sides of the line of scrimmage, having guys that can just do so many different things. We've got a guy in this draft, a tight end out of Florida, Kyle Pitts, who I think he might, if you were just going to grade the X receivers in this draft, he might be the second or third best wideout. But now he's 6'6", 240 pounds.
So 3rd and goal. Trask, end zone shot, and Pitts got it. Touchdown. 2 defenders right there, and Pitts able to rip it out of the air for the score.
To have somebody like that with that type of versatility with where the game is going, Coach, how much value is there?
I'm going to answer it this way. We were talking about Zion off the air, okay? And I would always get asked, where would you play Zion if you had him in football? And, it would be one of two places, and you just said it, both sides of the ball. It would be tight end or some kind of hybrid edge rusher. So when you've got a guy like Pitts, and I've watched Florida and I'm friends with Dan, I don't think you have it's a matchup nightmare. And he can play outside, and he's going to issue many problems to corners just from a size mismatch. And when you go inside, his athleticism, his length is going to create all kinds of problems. I'm liking that guy vertical in any form or fashion, whether it's out of a slot or whether it's off the line of scrimmage, because as we all know, the vertical passing game's changed because they can leave their feet to hit them. Used to be a dangerous route, not so dangerous anymore, and when these guys figure that out, they can make a living going down the field.
It's been such a treat to sit here and talk with you. I've got 900 other questions that I've got in my head, but we're going to let you scoot today. We thank you so much. We value your time, and it's really been great to hear from you today.
Well, I enjoy you guys, and come see us when this pandemic's over. We'd love to see you anytime. Take good care.
That was Be Prepared, presented by Castrol Edge.